Good afternoon, children. Okay, it all depends whether it's a morning or afternoon. I hope you're all doing good, and let us. We are here at the last part of our lesson, kingdom classification. We have seen kingdom Protista, Monera, Fungi, kingdom Plantae, in which we have seen the non-flowering plants. Now we are going to see what are flowering plants. Okay, in non-flowering there is no structures like typical plant root, stem, and leaf. They just have root-like and leaf-like and stem-like structures. And the examples were algae, moss, liverworts and mosses, and fungi, right? And today let us see what are flowering plants, what are their features. They bear flowers obviously, and that is why they are able to reproduce. They have flowers and seeds both. They have conducting tissues. They have the xylem and phloem tissues which are going to carry the water and the food throughout the body. Then there are two types. Okay, there's a spelling mistake there, please ignore. Okay, cone bearing and flower bearing. When if it is a flower bearing, then obviously cone will not be there. If it is a cone, and there obviously flowers won't be there. Cone bearing, instead of flowers, it is just replaced with the cones. Okay, the seeds are borne on the surface of the cones and are exposed. The seeds will be at the top of these cones and they are seen, actually exposed means they are on the outside. Then fruits are not formed. Here no fruit formation is done, and these are evergreen. That means they will be in the places where it rains continuously. Right, it consists of tall trees, cypress, pine, and fir. Now we all know, we have been studying for so long, that cypress, pine, and fir kind of trees are just found on the hilly areas, mountainous hilly areas like Shimla, Manali. If you have gone on those tourist places and must have seen all this kind of, where the plants are evergreen always, right? Because there is water supply all the time, because they're on the mountains where it rains quite often. So these are all cone bearing. These are the features of cone bearing. Now coming to flower bearing, obviously they have flowers, fruits, and seeds. And seeds are enclosed within a dry or fleshy fruit that develops from the ovary, which is a part of the flower. We have seen in reproduction of plants parts of the flower in which we have studied what is ovary. Obviously, right? Now the ovary then further develops into a fruit, and the seeds are always present inside this dry or fleshy fruit. Most flower bearing plants are deciduous, that is, they shed all their leaves seasonally, turn-wise, right? Not at one stretch. So these are the deciduous trees. This group forms the largest group in the plant kingdom, and they range in the size from small herbs to the giant trees. Based on the structural differences, flower bearing plants can be further divided into two groups, monocotyledon and dicotyledon. So the plants can be divided into either whether they are monocots or dicots. Now we have studied what are monocots and dicots. Very easy. The plants with seeds having only one cotyledon on the seed leaf. Okay. Now if the seed is able to, we are be able to break it into two, like a groundnut or a peanut, it is dicotyledon. If it is just one, like maize and all those cereals, in which the seed remains intact, it is monocot. But while writing definition, children often make the mistake writing plants having only one cotyledon. It is not plants having cotyledon. It is the seeds. Plant with the seeds. The cotyledon belongs to the seed, and the seed belongs to the plant. Okay, so do not forget to mention the seeds having only one cotyledon is monocotyledon, and seeds having two cotyledons are called as dicotyledon. That is all about the kingdom Plantae, and now we are moving towards the kingdom Animalia. I think we all fall under this, right? So we all know that it is eukaryotic and multicellular heterotrophic nutrition organisms. We are all eukaryotes, having a very well developed nucleus, multicellular, and we are depending on others for food. They feed on either plants and its products or the flesh of other animals. They are able to move freely with the help of their limbs. All animals are divided into two groups, whether they are having a backbone or not having a backbone, whether they are invertebrates or vertebrates. And there is a next lesson coming up entirely based on only kingdom classification. So for this session, it is just about this kingdom Plantae with flowering plants. There are two types, cone bearing. Here the flowers are not there. Okay, they are growing on evergreen parts of the world. Then it is flower bearing plants where there is a fruit seed. Okay, then they are divided into monocots and dicots. The plants with seeds having one cotyledon is obviously mono, and my two cotyledons are dicotyledons. And the last kingdom is kingdom Animalia, where the organisms are having limbs, the organisms are heterotropic, they are multicellular, they are eukaryotic, and there are majorly two types, invertebrates and vertebrates. Now in the next lesson we are all going to study them in detail. What are vertebrates, what are the types, what are the phyla coming in them, what are invertebrates, what are the different phyla coming in there. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. Please keep going through the lesson, make your own mind maps, the examples, the features, and the pictures, picture based questions. Everything is important. Please read the lesson and again, and study them, read them. They are quite interesting. Did you find out where does a virus fall into all these kingdoms? Virus is going to come under which kingdom? Animalia, Plantae, fungi, or what? Monera, Protista. Okay, that's try to find out some extra information. Go to the my learning corner of the textbook. There are various activities given there. Try to complete them for a change, for a fun sake. Okay, so let us wind up here with this lesson. We are going to probably start with the next lesson in the next session now. But before that, please complete your notes, all the long answer questions, short answer question, whatever it is, objective questions from the textbook. Solve it in the textbook itself. And short and long, write in your own words. No need to keep on writing lengthy, same as given in the PDF. No, write in your own words, but that should cover the important points. Okay, by now I hope you have got into the habit of writing in your own words, and that too very only important points. So that's it for the day. Okay, have a nice day ahead. Keep healthy and keep smiling. So bye bye till the next session.